giving more money, yes, that's great, and it increases the chance of an approval. Well, the dirty stuff is never really publicized. I mean,
yeah, but there's more
pressure. There's more pressure to prove something. They tone down the impact of the user fees on their operations because they know they're dependent on the drug companies and the vaccine companies and these other companies for their agency to operate. It'll be a recurring fountain of revenue. If they can get every person required at an annual vaccine, that is a recurring return of money. The drug companies, the food companies, the vaccine companies, they pay us hundreds of millions of dollars a year to hire and keep the reviewers to approve their products. Oh, there's a money incentive for Pfizer and the drug companies to promote additional vaccinations.
Like how much money do they get?
Well, I mean, it'll be a recurring fountain of revenue. It might not be that much initially, but it'll be recurring if they can get every person required at an annual vaccine. That is a recurring return of money going into their company.
Okay, so like if they mandate it for these toddlers, then it's guaranteed income.
Right, at some level.
So do you think that's part of the reason why?
Well, I don't think that's the reason, but that's obviously one of the benefits.
Right.
They clearly want it also for that reason. A long time ago, Congress approved user fees for FDA. Basically, we charge the industry millions of dollars in order to hire more drug reviewers and vaccine reviewers, which will speed up the approval process so they make more money. Like our budget's like, it's like $5.5 billion.
Wait, $5.5 billion for what?
FDA's budget. There's almost $1 billion a year going into FDA's budget from the people we regulate.
What do you mean the people?
Well, the drug companies, the food companies, the vaccine companies. So they pay us hundreds of millions of dollars a year to hire and keep the reviewers to approve their products. And there's not a direct correlation. I think sometimes the agency whitewashes the impact of the user fees. They tone down the impact of the user fees on their operations because they know they're dependent on the drug companies and the vaccine companies and these other companies for their agency to operate. On the overall impact on approvals, I don't think it has an impact on FDA operations.
Okay.
On general, I mean, obviously there are some people in the agency which might think more favorably on the drug companies that are in the approval process. Well, the dirty stuff is never really publicized. I mean,
yeah, but
there's more pressure. There's more pressure to prove something. Just because it's most of them, well, almost all of them will be based on the actual data. So they're giving more money. Yes, that's great, and it increases the chance of an approval. But if the data's not there, it comes and bites the reviewer in the ass, where they all approve it, and then like there's adverse reactions, which we have to pull it off the market.
Does that happen?
It happens a lot. And all these like organizations within FDA, they like started to see all this cash in their eyes. It's like, oh, I need to grab some of that. And I think we've gone too far on that. They're getting a little overzealous in charging the user fees to other non-payroll expenses.
Why would they do that?
Well, why not? The money gets banked. It's not spent. It's a multi-year, and the money gets banked there, and you want to be able to spend it.
Spend it
on whatever you can, whether it's right or wrong. So then Congress approved it at a smaller level. They approved it mainly for payroll, but then also now it's supporting infrastructure and everything, just like this animal out there. I think it's probably excessive. But industry doesn't want to complain about it too much, but I think FDA is probably, I think they're using it to cover other expenses that don't necessarily tie in with the need of the user fees. I don't think there's enough people saying there's like, look, that's fine, but that's not right, so we're not going to charge that. You don't want to be that person. You're not going to have a long shelf life in the agency if you're always that person.
Always that person that's kind of
like criticizing or suggesting that maybe we shouldn't be doing this.
So if you speak out about it, if you see them,
you're marked.
What do you mean you're marked?
You're not going to get to certain levels in government. There's not an incentive to speak out in government, surprisingly. You would think there would be, but there's not. It's better just to not say anything and just ignore it. The whistleblower, while it's high profile, the whistleblower statutes and everything, that's kind of ridiculous. There's no protection for someone who speaks up.
Isn't there supposed to be?
There is supposed to be, but like there's easy ways to get around that.
How do you get around it?
Well, you'd be marked from getting other jobs because another office is not going to want to hire you if you've spoken out about something, right or wrong. They don't look at what you've spoken out about. They're just not willing to. Government's about rocking the boat, and they don't want to. Which is the problem I have with one of the problems I have with government is like they don't like people rocking the boat for right or wrong at all costs. They want to hire a safe person that can do the job, but doesn't necessarily is a great hire.
So the type of person that will turn a blind eye if they see
that's
anything.
That's who they would hire, from what I've heard. And no one's going to hire that person. You're stunned. It's better just to stay quiet and accept it.